Today we're looking at the volume of spheres practice, and I haven't done it on my previous papers because we had to write it down in the problem so much. But what you might want to do is at the very top of your paper write that the volume of a sphere, the formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. And again, you're going to be provided the green paper. I just took that straight off of there. Here's your volume of your sphere formula. But if you, for some reason, wanted to memorize that, then what I could recommend is that you write down that formula every time you do the problem. But we've got it right there at the top of our paper, so we can look up, and maybe you've got the green paper beside you while you're working. But it says, find the volume of a standard tennis ball, round to the nearest tenth, D equals 68 millimeters. So remember, if D equals 68, the radius is half of that, which is 34. So once we know the radius of the problem, then we're going to fill these values back into the formula. So the volume equals 4/3 times pi times 34 cubed. So make sure to talk to your teacher if you don't know how to type in cubed into Desmos. But this does say to round to the nearest tenth, so we are going to use pi here when we type it in. Again, I'm using my calculator because I can't get to Desmos on the screen. But it's basically the same buttons with maybe the exception of the cubed button. So it's 4/3 times pi. So here's pi times 34 cubed. And now that we've got that typed into the calculator, we get our answer here, and we can copy it down. We're rounding to the nearest tenth, so we're looking at the 1 to determine what to do to the 2. And since 1 is less than 5, we're going to leave that 2 alone. So this is 1644636.2. So 164,636 millimeters cubed. Problem 2. We want to find the volume of a hemisphere with D equals 12 inches. Leave answers in terms of pi this time. So in this particular problem, first of all, we need to know that a hemisphere is half of a sphere. The other thing that's really important to notice is, again, we've got the diameter is 12, but we need the radius for our formula. So when we type this in here, the formula is going to be 4/3 times pi times 6 cubed, and then once we get that answer, we're going to have to divide our answer in half. So if we take a look here and pull up the calculator, then we're going to type in 4/3. We want to leave it in terms of pi, so we're not going to type in the pi this time. 4/3 times 6 cubed here, and I'm going to press enter, although on Desmos we don't really need to, and we get that number, and then we're going to divide by 2, and then what we end up with is 144 pi inches cubed.